All right, peace. What's going on, folks? I'm back. Hey, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Most importantly, like, subscribe, comment down below. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. This video is called damn, I'm knocking shit down. This video is called The Disconnected, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is that there is there's one point that I try my best that in all my videos, I like to assume that I try my best that I've tried my best to echo in every video is the fact that I want you to think for yourself. Most importantly, you see what I'm saying? Uh, I want you to challenge anything and everything that you've been taught, right? Everything you've been spoon fed, right? You know what I'm saying? Literally, as soon as you came out the womb, you were told, right? And you weren't given a chance to think anything otherwise. You understand what I'm saying? So, the most important thing besides that, besides self-analyzation, besides uh, you know, questioning what you know, right? Questioning what you've been taught, what you've been told, right? Spoon fed. Uh, most importantly, what I try, a lot of what I try to say and what I try to put in these videos is mainly is connection, right? I talk about spirituality, connect with your spirit with spirituality. I talk about nature, right? Connect with nature in its true essence. I talk about connecting in regards to morality as people, right? As a community, as humankind, right? I got the universal laws of nature videos out there, and one of those main laws was one of the first laws was the law of oneness, right? So these are the main things that I've been trying to push is that uh, to not let other people or other entities try to tell you how to think, and then another thing is to connect. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this title of this video is is the disconnected. You see what I'm saying? You see, what's unfortunate in the world is that too much of us in this world are disconnected as a people. You see what I'm saying? And what's unfortunate about that is that when it's time to make decisions, when it's time to make decisions that affect all of us as a community, as a country, whatever, a county, a state, a province, you know, when we make these decisions, we tend to make them with biased intent as opposed to unbiased intent, right? Why is because we're so disconnected with each other and with each other's cultures, with each other's belief systems, whatever it is. Like I say, we're so disconnected with that is that even the people that are placed in power, they make decisions neglecting a huge percentage of people that are affected by their decisions, and they make these decisions not giving a fuck about any of them people, right? And so that's my point. My point is that we are too disconnected, and there's too many of us that are disconnected than connected to what's going on out here and to what we need to be doing, especially when it comes to our political figures, our decision makers, and that goes for majority of countries all over this world. Like I can't just talk down on one country when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't, I really can't even think of one country that I'd like to assume just does it right. And when I say do it right, it's because they are looking at every culture that is affected by their decisions, and not only do they consider those people, but it's you can even tell that it's even a show of balance even in their laws, right? When you look at their communities, the demographics, when you look at the demographics of people who are in positions of power, is it a balance of is it a reflection of the people that live there, right? Race, culture, whatever it is it a pure reflection of those people? I don't know. Like, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you because most countries, they have kind of a pretty biased system of running it, from the Asias to the Americas to the Africas. Majority of this world is run by a European mentality, right? It's run with a colonialism type of government, right? If it's not, it's always under the umbrella of democratic type of thing, but you always have either a parliament, right, which is from Europe, or you have a president, which is the American type of ideology. So either way, that's still all European at the end of the goddamn day. But my point is that we are still disconnected, even when it comes to government. But let me just bring it back. Like, just us as a people, right? Empathy is something that's not prevalent in today's society. You know, people don't feel for each other and for what someone else is going through as much as it used to be. I'd like to assume. Now, how I feel like that's how it is because not only are we cold with each other on the street, not only are we, it's like, for example, like, the kids nowadays, life ain't shit to them. Not only will they're quick to take each other's, they'll take an old person's life just as quick as they'll take one of their best friends' life. And these kids are 15, 16, 17 years old, shooting the shit out of each other. So not only with that, but even with social media, you know. Just the other day, I was watching that video with Tyrese crying about his kid. Now, whether he was doing it for attention or not, I'd like to assume that he wasn't fake crying about his kid. Like, I'm pretty sure he's going through some kind of custody battle, right? Like, I'd like to assume that. Like, I don't think he was lying about that. Now, whether he was trying to get cool points from his fans, y'all, or his millionaire, billionaire friends that he mentioned that weren't showing up at the courtroom, for whatever reason, he went to social media like everybody else, like y'all all do. Like every single one of y'all go to social media and bitch and cry and complain and talk shit and do anything and everything because that's what everybody does now, right? That's how y'all feel like y'all are connecting. So when Tyrese tried to connect with y'all, when he was telling y'all his problems and he's looking for something, right? Empathy, whatever, right? Looking for something. Because he even said nobody's listening. So what did he do? He went to his fans. What does fans do? What does fans do? Because he was trying to connect with y'all, right? What'd y'all do? Y'all turn around, call him pussy, call him, you know what I'm saying? All sorts of goddamn names. Tell him not to be crying on the internet. We don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Where when this man, I'm pretty sure he knew he was embarrassing himself, but do you think he cared? Nah, he didn't care because at the end of the day, he was crying about his baby, right? My point is that disconnect to where we don't even give a fuck about a man who's crying about his kid just because he's rich. We don't give a shit, right? Just because he's rich, we're going, you're rich, motherfucker. You got, like, we have worse problems. What? Like, we don't go through custody battles with us, not having money. We go through the same shit. So for us to not connect with them on that, there was no empathy. Not one little bit. Not one little bit. Even, you see, what for me, what made it even more distasteful and kind of fucked up, don't get me wrong, the motherfucker does have an ugly crying face. Like, I get it. Like, it's like I get the dark comedy of it. But like I said, for other celebrities to go out their way to post funny fucking videos or they're trying to be funny, to clown this man and call him lame and call him pussy and call him, you know what I'm saying, like just soft for crying on a camera like that, like it shows the disconnect. And especially with another black man crying like that, another, you know what I'm saying, a black man crying like that, and then you see another black man talking down on them like that, and you a celebrity too, knowing damn well that most of us are, statistically not with our seeds. So for us to talk down on that man when he's crying for his kid, when statistically majority of us are not, that's even worse. That says even more about us as a people being disconnected than the rest of the world who is not like us being disconnected. Like I expect any other race to not give a shit, right? That's basically what I'm saying. I expect any other race to not give a fuck. And if anything, we could have not been so hard on that goddamn man, knowing damn well that most of us are not with our kids to begin with, right? So that's my, you know what I'm saying? So that disconnect right there is a social media example of it. But then also when it comes to just being, on the street, you know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to just being on the street, you know how many times I'll drop down the street and somebody will have not even just a flat tire, just, you know what I'm saying? Somebody have some kind of car problem. They got a hood up and people will drive right by. An 80-year-old lady with a shopping cart or something, or walking real slow and limping, got some groceries, whatever. Drive right by. People drive right by. People don't give a shit no more. People will give a bum some money quicker than they'll help that old lady. I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm just saying that we are disconnected with each other as people. We don't give a shit what happens with people anymore. It's more funny to watch somebody, get hurt, fall on their ass, and watch it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Everything now is more entertainment, and somebody's misery now is more entertainment. These reality shows The only fucking reason you watch those reality shows is because you want to watch these people fight. You want to watch these people argue. You want to watch these people tear each other down. That's it. That's the only reason why you watch them. Because if they were all lovey-dovey every single day holding hands and picking roses, y'all motherfuckers wouldn't be watching that shit. Y'all wouldn't be watching it. So misery is literally y'all's entertainment. You see what I'm saying? It's literally what y'all enjoy. Watching other people disconnect is now entertainment. Watching people disconnect with each other is now the entertainment of the day. You don't watch the shit for people to be fucking happy with each other and stay together. You watch it because you want that motherfucker to leave that motherfucker and go to this person because of this reason, and you want this one to whoop this one's ass when they see each other, and you never like this one because of that reason. That's why you watch these goddamn shows. That's why they're on the 8th, 9th, 10th seasons, and they keep, you know, they keep funneling in like a conveyor belt more characters for y'all to enjoy and put your money on and go heat up some popcorn for, you know? And literally, that's all disconnect. Half of those people that you watch, they really don't get along with each other. Some of them probably do. Some of them is probably all fake. But it's fake. Why? Because they know that y'all enjoy watching them disconnect with each other. So, like I said, it's a sick game. It's a sick game. But now with us, it's almost not even it's almost it's full blown entertainment with us now. It's full blown entertainment with us. So imagine how we treat each other when we watch this shit, because you know how much effect that box does, right? You know anything that comes, you know, you see a McDonald's commercial, you don't want some fucking McDonald's. So if you watch people fighting and argue all goddamn day, what do you think you're gonna do when you step out the door? What you gonna do? You gonna treat that motherfucker just like how Jocelyn treated the chick you saw, whatever the fuck. You gonna do it just like you saw your idol do it, right? Just like you saw Jocelyn slap the shit out that bitch, you gonna do the same thing. When I see that bitch, I'm gonna slap the shit out of her. Just like I saw Jocelyn do it on Love and Hip Hop, whatever the fuck show you watch. But my point is that we are enjoying this disconnect with us as people, man. We're enjoying this shit, and then we end up following, idolizing the people that have the most disconnect. That's who we idolize now. When it comes to our knowledge, when it comes to information, disconnect. We don't know. Yo, that Vegas shooting, that shit is like a goddamn episode of some CSI. It's just a long ass episode of CSI to me now. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens because there's so much bullshit. That's so much crazy. So much. Yo, some security dude was a hero and shot somebody. Now he's saying he wasn't a hero and he's disappeared. And uh, they picked some old white dude who just has his eyes closed. That's the only picture they can find of this old white man who did that shooting in Vegas. His eyes are closed like this. That's the only picture they can find of this man. So they put that shit up there. Nobody know this motherfucker has no gun training, no nothing. Man, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. Nobody knows anything. Just this and then on top of that, we have hundreds of videos, right? We got thousands of videos of people running, jumping in the audience that were running from the gunfire, right? And still nobody knows shit. Nobody knows shit. Nobody knows shit. And then the next one, boom, in New York. That dude with the U-Haul truck. He just run a bunch of people over and then jumps out and then run circles around the street. Motherfucker he ain't hitting no alleys trying to get away. And then he gonna kill it. He know he about to kill a bunch of people and he's gonna bring a bunch of BB guns. It all don't make no goddamn sense. And then now they're telling us he's a terrorist. Oh, he said this. There was a note. Like, how do we know? How do we know this shit? These weird ass crimes and events that are happening. And then what's unfortunate is that we're so disconnected with our government. We're so disconnected with our media source. Well, I don't think we've ever been connected with them. But at the end of the day, you would like to assume they would tell us some shit like that, right? I heard this man been shot in the ass. I heard this man been shot in the abdomen. The dude who drove the U-Haul. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. But I don't know what the truth is. Why? It's because there's so much of a disconnect with us as a goddamn people. We don't know. We can't trust our own government. You know how many people statistically don't uh, they believe that the JFK assassination was you know it was a conspiracy. You know how many people believe that shit? Majority, majority of people. And I guarantee majority of people believe me when I say that this Vegas shooting shit was weird too. And this New York shit. Weird as fuck. All of it. But I can't trust no well, I can't, I can't verify it. Why? Because I'm disconnected with the government. Y'all connected with them? Will they tell y'all the truth? Hell no. Can't verify it. Why? Because we're disconnected with our media sources who are supposed to be telling us this shit, right? We won't know because they're getting it from somebody else too. But there's no connection there. We're just general information. You know how you get your electricity? You know where your water coming from? You know where your shit going? You know where your food coming from? Where your apples come from? Where your goddamn your salads coming from? Do you know where that shit comes from? You know where your chicken's made? When you get some whole chickens or some chicken tenders, you know where that shit's made? You know what chicken farm? Did you know what that chicken looked like before it was cut up and put on a you know what I'm saying, one of them little plastic boxes for you up there at Walmart? Do we know this shit? No. You don't know what the fuck that chicken was eating. You don't know where those carrots, what ground that, those carrots you were eating. You don't know where it's from, what ground it's from. Was the ground nutritious? Or was there a bunch of shit all above them, all above the carrots? You don't know. And we know how much our food affects us, right? Just as for our vitality. We know that. So where that food is will also affect us, right? Because that would also dictate how nutritious it is. And then also, majority of the time, you would like to eat food that is reasonably close to your inhabitants, right? Most of the time, you eat the food that's around you. So my point is that you eat food from China all the goddamn time, then your body's gonna start acting like how the people act in China. Why? Is because you're eating the food from there, right? So if you're eating a bunch of preservatives and shit that's been sitting for a long goddamn time, your body is gonna react to that shit. But my point is that you don't even know what you just put in your fucking belly. All you know is that it was macaroni and cheese. That's all you know. That's all you know. You don't know if that cheese really came from a goddamn cow or a goat. You have no fucking idea. That's disconnected. That's disconnected. I mean, look, you don't think sometimes when when I get broke and I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta get, it's like I can't afford, uh, 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 you know what I'm saying, like fresh chicken from Aldi's, or I can't afford fresh vegetables or fresh fruit, you know. And then when I'm looking at the ramen and shit like that, yo, that shit ain't good for you, and you know it. But most of us don't even give a shit because, like I said, the disconnect is so goddamn bad. We don't give a shit. We just gonna eat it, right? Because I mean, the worst thing you can say is, well, shit, the shit was cheap and I'm full. I mean, that's it. Like the mission is completed. But like I said, like how beneficial and conducive is that for you ultimately? You know, if you did go out your way, to make your little garden. You can even make them little gardens where it's all a little chamber. You know what I'm saying? It's all a little container by itself. You can put it by your sink and plug that shit in or whatever. You can do that shit. I'm just saying, nowadays you can be conveniently healthy and proactive about your health, man. It's very possible. It really is. And then to even inquire about the food you're getting when you're at the grocery store, when you're at the fresh produce aisle, ask them, like, where does this come from? If they don't know, well, let me talk to the manager. Let me find out. I want to know. Like, I'm curious. I want to know where this shit come from. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. Well, you can damn sure find out, But my point is that we have to connect. We have to connect. We can't enjoy disconnecting. You know what I'm saying? And then because if we do, you don't know where your food come from. And if you don't know where your food come from, that's the easiest way somebody can not only control you, but that's the easiest way anything can kill you. If you don't know, like the only people that should feed you were your parents back in the day. Wasn't just anybody. It's your fucking parents. So food and whoever's giving you that food, it's a very important thing. The source is very important. It's the food is important, but the source is even more important because it has to come from a healthy and beneficial source. It can't come from no goddamn six-winged, goddamn three-legged chicken. That is not a good source. That's still food, but that ain't a good goddamn source. That's disconnect. That's disconnect. When you force a people to live so poor where all they can afford is goddamn Big Macs and double cheeseburgers, and they can't afford to go get a cow or be maintaining a herd of cows where they can go slaughter the shit themselves, and it's a it's a free range cow that's been eating grass, and they've been taking care. You see what I'm saying? It's like, so if the government is and the people are so disconnected to the point where the majority of people can't even afford to take care of themselves, so then now businesses are generated where now you can eat these cheap ass meals. That shit is not helping nobody. Like I said, all that is now people are profiting off the disconnect. Now McDonald's is profiting off of you being disconnected with your government and with the economic, uh, uh, um, the economic, economic world, right? Majority of folks are now disconnected from making enough money to take care of themselves, where they can eat what they want. Now they have to eat what they can get. Now they have to eat what they can get. They have to work any job that they can get, right? So my point is that the McDonald's and all that, they didn't pop up to save us. They didn't pop up to save us. Them motherfuckers did not pop up to save us. Marlboro did not pop up to save us. Budweiser did not pop up to save us as people. They did not pop up to save us. They did not. Budweiser and all these motherfuckers did not pop up to save us. They popped up to make a profit off of your disconnect from natural foods. You don't know where to get natural food from. So guess what I got for you? I got some ramen. And I'll charge you goddamn 50 cents for the shit too. But guess what you're gonna do? You have to buy my shit. It's not even that you want to. It's not even that you just feel like it. You have to buy the shit because you are so disconnected from your natural food, from any source of natural food. You don't even know how to go hunt. You don't know how to go shoot a goddamn squirrel. You don't know how to trap nothing. You don't know how to fucking fish. You barely know how to goddamn swim. The only time you swim is for fun, not for anything else. Can't shoot a gun, right? Or if you can, uh, good luck. Good luck. These are things that if McDonald's and all them shit closed right now, the the WalMarts, all them shits, you know when people go hungry and turn into criminals just because they don't know how to do just basic survival. They don't have basic survival skills. They don't know how to start a goddamn fire. They don't know how to start a fire. Majority of folks don't know how to start a goddamn fire. That's it. They don't know how to get. Man, you be done 2 days, 3 days. You done. You robbing people. That's exactly what most people are gonna be doing. That's why this world's gonna be. If electricity goes out and all that shit, there's gonna be everybody's gonna turn into criminals because they don't know how to survive because they're so disconnected. You don't know how to survive. So your food, man, you gotta know where your food comes from, and then the more you know about where your food comes from, I guarantee you would even feel more obligated and more motivated to have more influence over that, right? Right? Because you like to pick on the menu, right? You like to pick what you want to eat. So if you know where it comes from too, like I said, you might even think further and go, well, I wonder what that shit was eaten before I ate it. See, most people don't even get to that even far thinking when they eat a burger. They'll go, that motherfucker was good. But they don't even think about What was that thing eating before you to make it so goddamn good? Could it have been better? Is that number spices you eating? Do you know? Like, when you go to Johnny's and you get a burger from Johnny's, get you a bacon cheeseburger from Johnny's, and then you grab a McDonald's bacon cheeseburger and put them shits beside each other, that ain't the same cow. That ain't the same cow. If you take a Johnny's burger and you take a McDonald's burger, that is not the same fucking cow. That's my point. But see, just because you pay more for the Johnny's, you already know that's not the same cow. Yeah. But my point is though, you still don't know what the fuck that cow was eating. And you don't know how good that shit is for you. In all essence. All you know is that motherfucker was $12. That's all you know. And it has to be better, right? Because it's $12. That motherfucker has to be better. McDonald's shit's $1. Johnny's is goddamn $12. Yeah, that burger got to be fucking better for me. That's how we make our goddamn decisions. We don't, because you don't know. All you base it on is because that motherfucker is more expensive. Disconnect, man. Disconnect. We gotta connect. We gotta connect. Even if it is a little more work. But see, that's the thing. That's what's unfortunate is that, the time that you could be spending to connect to these things, you are spending disconnecting at a job that you fucking hate, right? Instead of connecting with the family or the friends or the people that you have, you at a job that you fucking hate, disconnected with a bunch of people that you can't wait to fucking not be around when it's 5 o'clock. All day. And you spend more time there than at home, right? Because you up there 40, 50 hours a week. Disconnected. All day. You just autopilot, typing, whatever the fuck you gotta do, right? Pencil pushing, calling, telemarketing, whatever it is, you just autopilot. Because at 5 o'clock, I get to go home and connect with shit that I really do want to connect to, right? Like your goddamn love and hip hops and stupid shits where you watching other people fuck. You connect to watching other people disconnect. I'm not saying all of y'all like that. And look, sometimes I watch these dumbass shows too. Sometimes I fucking it's like the chaos and the drama gets me too. Sometimes I do. I'm like, man, fuck it. Why? What are they fighting about? And I'll go over there and watch this shit. Sometimes I cave to. But like I said, my point is that I consciously try not to because I know what it's feeding me and I know what it's doing to me. I know what it's doing to me. So, um, in our politics, like I said, we are extremely disconnected in our politics. Why? Because there has only been a one-sided type of rule, right? There's only been a one-sided type of political reign, and it's only been that way for a few thousand years. But like I said, though, it's very evident in regards to the colonization of every fucking continent by the Europeans, right? It's very evident by the slave trade that was created by the Spaniards, by the Europeans, and by the Arabs. And then it's pretty evident by how they have the three major religions and they all are kind of running the fucking world, right? You know what I'm saying? You got your Muslims, they're running you know what I'm saying? They're running Middle East and they're running a bunch of Africa. They're trying to take over Europe right now. And then you got your Christianity that's running the rest of Africa, the rest of Europe, the rest of whatever, you know what I'm saying? Some of the little spots, I want to say are Asia, because Asia, I mean, it's Christianity, but it's not like anywhere else, but all the Americas, all them shits, right? Boom. And then you got your goddamn Jews, right? Which, like I said, the Jews is the daddy, is Christianity's daddy, right? So my point is that these entities have had biased intent through any kind of political decision making for the past few thousand years, 2,000 years to be kind of exact. How you know what I'm saying, and what backs that up, like I said, is by the slave trade that was implemented in 1441. That was started by the Spaniards, and then it was propelled and motivated by the English, the British, and then the Arabs joined in after that. So from then, not only did the doctrine of their type of ideology was set in stone, but not that, you know what I'm saying, in its own basically evolved and snowballed to what we have now, which is, you know what I'm saying, they got the democracy type of way we do here with the presidents, the vice presidents, and Congress and senates. And then they got parliaments in places like Europe, and then also places in Africa that are influenced by the European Parliament, and then there's some places that are influenced by the far western, which is, like I said, the quote unquote democratic presidential concept of government. So that that implementation is, like I said, is an evident proof of we don't give a fuck about the rest of y'all. We're gonna do what we want to do, which, like I said, is evidence of disconnection and not connection. More you know what I'm saying? Even with them, they're, you know what I'm saying, even they're those three major religions, which are the three kind of major powers of the world, they're disconnected. You know what I'm saying? It's like the the Muslims. No, okay, we'll start at the top. The Jews acknowledge the Christians. No, 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 no. The Jews the Jews gave birth, so to speak, to the Christians, right? But the Jews don't acknowledge their Jesus like they do. They say they know him, but they don't call him the Son of God, right? And then the Muslims, they acknowledge Christianity, but Christianity don't acknowledge Muslims. You don't hear about Muhammad in the Bible. You don't hear about Muhammad. You don't hear about them talking about the Arabs like they were good people or anything like that. So that's my point, is that even they're disconnected, but they did connect in the slave trade. They did connect in taking Africa as a hostage for their minerals and for their people and for their spirituality. They did connect on that. So they, like how we like to watch love and hip hop and how we like to watch people disconnect, they got together and watched us disconnect by 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 literally creating our disconnection, by colonizing us and taking us as slaves, taking our mineral resources, and even to this day, these things are still being used, and and you know what I'm saying, and they're still being used against us, and they're still taking advantage and monetizing the mineral resources, the people, the spirituality, and the ideology of the African people. So these disconnects, not only do they remind us of their origin when we watch the news now, when we see things like Colin Kaepernick, when we see these police shootings, when we see our graduation rates and how they differ from suburbs and urban communities, when we see our communities and how businesses are not investing in them, and they're not putting Walmarts on the east side, they're not putting Sprouts on the east side. When you see these things, this is pure evidence of that disconnect, right? Is because that's showing that not only do we not want to invest in you, we don't give a fuck about that, right? Not only do we not invest in your kids, we don't give a fuck about them either, right? The mass incarceration, we don't give a fuck about your young men and your women either, right? So these are pure evidence of the disconnect that we have as different races of people. And so my point is that it starts with even us knowing history, right? We are so disconnected with even knowing, uh, you know, who was on whose country, whose land this actually belongs to, whose the history of this land, right? The history of the spirituality that you follow, the origin of the spirituality, not even the religions. What y'all do is not spirituality. What y'all do is religions, because y'all have traditions and y'all have rituals. Y'all have a bunch of, yeah, that shit is different. It's a little more. I feel like it's a little more organized than spirituality. So my point is that either way though, you still don't know majority of the book that you believe in and that you say that you love wholeheartedly, and that you would die for. The majority of these Christians don't even read the Bible, let alone know any scriptures in the Bible. Most of y'all don't even. The only one y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. I can't even. I won't even give y'all. I won't even give y'all one of them. Most of y'all do not even know the Bible, but you scream hallelujah and amen, and I'm a Christian. And hell, some of y'all even go to church every Sunday, but y'all still don't know the Bible. Y'all don't read it. Y'all don't know shit about it. You don't know its origins. Y'all don't know any cultures that have similar stories with the Bible. Y'all don't know anything about it. Majority of y'all do not know. Majority of y'all do not know. I'm sure some of y'all do, but majority of y'all do not know anything about the Bible you read. I'll give it to the Muslims though. Now the Muslims, a lot of Muslims, their discipline for learning their book is a little more hands-on. You know what I'm saying? So not only do they have to pray 3, 4, 5 times a day, and they have to do that, uh, they are, it's like the study of the Quran, like I said, is more prevalent in their religion than the study of the Bible in the Christian religion. Most Christians do not know the goddamn Bible. I mean, it's sad to say, but it's very true. And the reason why I know that's because I grew up Catholic, and a lot of people did not know the Bible growing up. When I would read the Bible, I would come back and start talking about it, and people who were Christians would look at me and go, "What? What? Tell me more. Like, what happened?" And I'm going, "Shit, you should know this shit." Like, but anyway, my point is that there's even a disconnect with the shit that y'all think y'all believe in and love. Y'all don't even know half of it. Y'all don't know anything about it. And so if you feel like it is something that you do love wholeheartedly, then I urge you to connect with it. Then, even if it is some bullshit, maybe you will finally learn that it is some bullshit. Or if it is some real shit, yo, more power to you. But my point is that even if it's something that I don't believe is legit, then either way, if you believe in it, then connect with it, and then you can conclude for yourself how legit it is for yourself. But my point is that connect with it. Don't run around telling me you're Christian and you love Jesus, but then I ask you what is Ecclesiastes 3:11. You can't tell me shit. Okay, let's not do. We can't do shit like that. We can't do that. We can't do that. I'm not saying know the whole Bible. No, what I'm saying is that if you're gonna die for something, I'd like to assume you know about it. Or if you talk about something for your whole life, talking about you part of this or this and that, I like to assume you know something about it, right? I'd like to assume so. So if you are a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew, whatever, connect with y'all's religions, connect with them, and then make you a conclusion after that connection. But don't tell me you're a Christian and you don't know shit about your Bible. You don't read it. When you never read it. The only time you open it is when you're in church. That's it. don't don't tell me shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. In school, we are disconnected in school, right? We're disconnected in school. Half of the shit we learning about, we don't. We're not learning. We're being told. Just recite. This is what happened. Learn it. Learn that. Just recite that. Not get into the specifics of what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just heard that the Oklahoma City superintendent Aurora. I don't know what your mama was thinking. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just playing, but still, your name is a goddamn tongue twist. So great idea. I love what you're doing, Aurora. I love what you're doing. Superintendent Oklahoma City. She is. Well, it's like I don't know if she's doing it, but it's some third party. But she permitted it. But at the end of the day, they put out a curriculum that they're going to put out to the Oklahoma City schools in regards to Thanksgiving and the true history of Thanksgiving, right? They want to talk about the more cultural, uh, um, the more cultural beneficial information and accurate history of what happened during the Thanksgiving time back in them days with the Indians and the Puritans. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want it as accurate as possible, and not this kumbaya fake ass story that we all grew up with. Like they were all kicking it and had a potluck, and Pocahontas brought some fine ass Indian bitches, and they all kicked it. Like that's all bullshit, right? So it's like now, like I said, Alora, whatever your name is, lady, you did a great job by permitting that extra little curriculum thing. And I know too, I heard it wasn't mandatory too. I heard it wasn't mandatory. I still feel like something like that should be mandatory, but Obviously it's like it should be mandatory after the it's been established that what is about to be mandatory is the honest, set in stone truth of what actually happened. So, but at the end of the day, like I said, I appreciate the efforts of trying to uh, enlighten these kids on what really happened back in them days, as opposed to telling them these fairy tales that we were told, right? That Christopher Columbus didn't even come to goddamn North America in 1492 like they were telling us. Christopher Columbus, he hit the what is now Bahamas. He hit the Caribbean. He was not on America. You see what I'm saying? So it's like people, we don't know that shit. I learned that shit on myself researching. I wasn't told by that by a teacher or anything like that. So like I said, even the disconnect on how we got here, as I don't want to say we, how they got here, or how society and how this, you know what I'm saying, how this whole thing came about, we don't fucking know. Most of us do not know this shit. All we know is there was Christopher Columbus came, there was some Puritans, and then there was some goddamn Thanksgiving, and then you know what I'm saying, Indians got killed off, Trail of Tears. You know what I'm saying? There's just little shits that we know, right? Just and you just kind of skip through a bunch of other shit. Alamo, Civil War, boom, Civil War. You see what I'm saying? So my point is that we need to know these things because not only is it important, it's imperative for us to know where we come from, so we know where we're going, but it's imperative for us to know where we come from so we know how to treat each other in present day. You see what I'm saying? How we treat each other is based on how we perceive each other. So if we are disconnected with each other, then how you treat me is going to be foul because we're disconnected. There's nothing that you give a fuck about me, and there's nothing I give a fuck about you. So my point is that that's not helping neither one of us. And we can tell when we look outside in the streets, when we watch the news, that shit ain't helping nobody. But then we still perpetuate the same mentality and ideology through time and trying to force feed fear as if fear, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you scare a suicide bomber? How do you pump fear into a suicide bomber's heart? And y'all need to understand too is that these motherfuckers don't just come out the womb and just go, oh, I just want to go bomb some shit. Somebody did some foul shit for somebody to want to strap some shit on themselves and want to go bomb a bunch of shit. I don't give a fuck what you got to say, man. Nobody just does that shit for fucking fun, man. Nobody do that shit for fun. Something happened. Something happened. Something happened. I don't know, but something happened. You don't kamikaze, the Japanese. Something happened. You don't just do kamikaze shit for no goddamn reason. Something happened. People don't wild out like that for no reason. I'm not gonna just kill myself to make sure I kill you for no goddamn reason. You gotta do something really fucked up to me to where I say to myself, I don't care what happens to me as long as I get your ass. Yo, you did some foul shit. You did some foul shit. You did some foul shit. I'm not playing that shit. I'm not playing that they're just crazy. Oh no, they just nah. Mm-mm. When you do some wild shit like that, is because some wild shit happened to you. That's why. When anybody does some, when you are ready to die, just to take out somebody else, is because that somebody else wronged you to the point where you don't give a fuck no more. Straight up. Shit. That's disconnect. And then for us to think that all we need to do is just we just got to keep banging it out. And then what? And then somehow you're going to pump fear into people like that, and or you're going to kill all them type of people. You never get rid of people like that. It's like the goddamn cartels. Same thing with the cartels. Same thing with the cartels. You think by deporting a bunch of MS-13s, that's going to do something? You deport 5, 15 coming back. Deport 200, 400 coming back in. 400 coming back in. Deport 50, 150 coming back in. Y'all ain't stopping that shit. But they know that. They know that. It's just like I said, all it does is it propels and it motivates more disconnect. Like I said, disconnect is $1 billion, $1 trillion industry. It's $1 trillion industry. What do you think even just teams are, right? If I'm a if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan and you are a Houston Texas fan, boom, we disconnected. That's that ain't my team, motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? That's money. That's money because now we're not going to the game just to watch Texans play. I'm going to watch Dallas whoop your team. That's why I'm going to the game. And that's why I'm going to bet on the game. That's why I'm going to buy my jersey because I love my team so much and I hate yours. So, but then, yeah, obviously we come out. Some people come out shaking hands, still cool afterwards, but some people don't. But my point is that we have monetized the idea of disconnecting with each other. Now it's celebrated to disconnect with each other. You see what I'm saying? To create opposition. It's celebrated. Now you are told that there has to be evil to be good, to have good, right? There has to be, right? There has to be a winner, right? And there's got to be a loser. There has to be. That's pure disconnect. That's telling you that there's always going to be one of you on this side and one of you on this side. We can't both win? Nah. We can't both lose? Nah. Which at the end of the day, what do you tell that losing goddamn team? Y'all still won. Y'all got out there and play. So then why is there a goddamn winning and losing team? Well, because the motherfuckers who built the stadium, they need to make money off of you connecting with your team and that other team connecting with their team, and then y'all get on the field to disconnect. They got to make money off of that. That's why. That's why. You know, what do we do with our kids? A lot of time with our kids, what do we do? At the end of the games, they all get a trophy, man. Because if winning and losing and all that shit was so important, then why don't we do that shit with our kids? Why do they all get trophies? Why do we do that to them? Why do we do that to them? When they play soccer and they kick the ball everywhere, the shit out of bounds, and why don't you put them on the fucking give them penalties and foul it? You know what I'm saying? And throw the flags on them. We don't do that to our kids. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's not about that, right? It's about the kid having fun. It's about the kid connecting with his teammates. That's what it's about. It's like when kids are playing like that, you know, when you see them playing organized basketball or soccer, or whatever, they barely got to have teams. They just run around and throw the ball and shoot and do shit. And we sit there and laugh, right? We're not saying, throw the ball, you're fucking losing. What the fuck are you doing? Focus. They're getting mad at the kid. No. If the scoreboard ain't even a big deal. When they score, they score. Everybody score. It's not about winning or losing. But then when they get older, you better win. Because if he doesn't, his parents gonna be like, daddy gonna be mad at him, right? He's gonna chew him out, right? His homeboys gonna be mad at him. They're gonna chew him out, right? Probably won't get no play. You know, like it's like I said, it's so fucked up how we toy with our kids' minds in the fact going, it's not about winning or losing when they're kids, right? But then when they get older, it's all about winning or losing. It's all about winning or losing, right? It's either you at McDonald's, you're losing, or you at a corporate job making $120,000 a year, you're winning. If you're at McDonald's, you're gonna have a certain type of girl. If you have a corporate job, $120, winning and losing. Winning and losing. It's time to connect with the ones that you can profit with while you make money off the disconnect. You know? So we got to understand these things that we celebrate disconnect way too much, man. We celebrate it way too much. We celebrate it with our quote unquote patriotism and countries, and this is the best country. This is the best country. This is the best state. This is Is that a form of connection with the rest of the goddamn world when you telling everybody that you the shit and y'all are better than everybody else? Is that a form of connection? I'm not saying not to feel great about yourself. What I'm saying is, though, but to say you're the greatest is not just feeling great about yourself. That is a superiority complex. That's thinking that you are superior. You say I'm the greatest, that's saying that anything else is below me. You say I'm great, that means you're great. Anything else can be great too. But when you say I'm the greatest, the best, everything else is under you. So if you always, even a kid, you don't want a kid always growing up saying I'm the best, I'm the greatest. You don't want your kid growing up like that, saying that. You know that. You don't tell your kid, you run around and you tell them, but you're the fucking best. You're the greatest, kid. You're the fucking best. You're the greatest. You're the best at everything. This is, your home is the best home in the neighborhood. Your bicycle is the best bicycle, the greatest. You don't tell your kid to do that shit. And if you hear it, you're gonna tell your kid, don't do that shit. Don't sit here and show off, right? Don't showboat. Don't brag. Don't boast. That's what we do. That's what we tell our kids. But then when they get older, we encourage them to goddamn boast. And we tell them to do the opposite. No, you better be proud. You better be proud of your shit so much that it's better than everybody else's. Being proud doesn't mean that you think you're better than everybody. Just because you're proud of your heritage or your country does not mean that your country is better than everybody's. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. That might mean that to you inside of your little ass mind, but my point is that it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. So to run around and say it, whether you're whatever fucking country, whether you're from China, whether you're from North Korea, whether you're from the Americas, Australia, if you run around saying your country is the best or your this is the best, that is telling us how disconnected you are. That's showing how disconnected we are. It's just pure evidence of it. Because we're all one. So how the fuck are you greatest if we're all one? You bleed just like me. How the fuck are you greater? How? If I punch you in your jaw, you gonna go to sleep just like anybody else. Well, some people they don't, but more than likely you gonna go to sleep. Try to give you the benefit of the doubt. But more than likely you gonna go to sleep like anybody else. How the fuck are you greater? If you catch a bullet like I caught a bullet, you gonna bleed just like I bleed. How are you the greatest? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't understand it. So what might separate us is not only materialistic but just monetary gains, right? Right? Just because you might have a little more bread than me, then you might feel like you're greater. When at the end of the day, when you bleed, that money is not gonna stop your bleeding. It ain't gonna stop you bleeding. You gonna take a credit card and stick it in your wound? Like we all gonna bleed, man. You know? So the disconnect, man. And then lastly with history, none of us even know who the fuck we are. Majority of us don't even know who we are. We don't even know who we are. I ask somebody, where you from? They be like, uh, uh, Jones, Oklahoma. No, like where you from? Mm. Yeah, I was born in Oklahoma City, but I'm from Jones. No. Okay, you were born in Oklahoma City. Where you from? Well, because just because you're born somewhere don't mean that's where you're from, right? We know that. Just because you're born somewhere don't mean that's where you're from. A person can be born, anybody. Hell, we just start with just the army. If you're an army, if you're an American soldier, and you and your wife go to China, and there's a base in China, and you have a kid, is that kid that's born in China, is that kid not Chinese? And you're an American soldier? No. You probably had that kid on an American base in China, which is considered American grounds. So now that kid is still American, but it was born in China. But that motherfucker ain't Chinese. Nor is he getting Chinese citizenship. He's getting American citizenship. Why? because that's what his parents are, right? So usually what you are is what your parents were. So if your parents are European, more likely, not more likely, God damn it, you European. If your parents were from Africa, then motherfucker, you are African. If your parents are from China, like they Chinese people, that means you from China. So you can have Chinese parents. They move here. You're born in America. You are still a Chinese person, right? But you living in America. But obviously, like I said, we're gonna call ourselves where we at. That's what we all usually do. But my point is that's cool to identify yourself in regards to where you at. I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You make a home there. I get that. My point is though, is that do not disconnect from where you're from. Understand, identify from where you at, but do not disconnect from where you from. Majority of y'all don't even know where you're from. You need to go find that shit out. And like I said in my other video, don't call those DNA sites. They'll just tell you whatever you want to hear. They'll look at you, get some pictures, do some facial feature things, compare those facial features to other cultures and civilizations, and then they'll go, "Yep, he looks more of a match from the Congolese." Yeah, bro, you from the Congo. They'll tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear. They do have DNA databases, but like I said, that's somebody grabbing some shit in a lab that you don't know, that you're disconnected to, and they telling you something that you now have to believe as your fucking origin. Ain't no fucking lab lady, no 40-year-old lab lady gonna call me and tell me who and what I am. Or send me a piece of paper that's gonna tell me who and what I am. That shit is just too impersonal for it to be goddamn true. It's too impersonal for it to be true. There's too much of a disconnect for it to be true. And then even that, even if like the probabilities of it being true, like I said, for me, it's just hard. It's hard because not only is it you going through there doing the research or having somebody do the research that is of you or knows your shit or knows your people or whatever. Not just somebody going into some lab, taking something that you got and comparing it with what they got and then giving you an answer. They could tell you anything. They could just say there could be no answer and they just give you one. You can't fucking prove shit about that. That's why you can't depend on that. That's why you can't depend. You got to do your research. You got to do your research. You got to do your research. You know? So we have to understand that we don't even know who we are as people. You know? Unfortunately, with the African Americans here, a lot of them don't know where they're from. A lot of them don't know if they are the tribes that have been here for a long time before the Spaniards and the Europeans, because there are a lot of African tribes that have been here before the colonization of the Americas. So some Black Americans come from them tribes that are indigenous to the Americas, but then also some come from Africa through the slave trade. But my point is that both don't know which one they are because of the disconnect of history, and which was purposeful, tactful, uh, just absolutely the most deceptional type of disconnection. That was forced disconnection. That was not done uh, voluntarily whatsoever. That wasn't done voluntarily whatsoever. So my point is that we have to know where we come from because that dictates who we are and it dictates how we treat each other. And then most importantly, it dictates where we go. We have to know that shit. And when people try to tell you your history don't matter or forget about the history it was back in the day, they trying to get you to disconnect. They telling you, look, disconnect from that shit. It's wrong. It's like, look, I'll put it to you like this. Even a traumatic experience. Let's say you got you got raped. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to forget that shit. Yeah, you want to forget about it in the sense of what happened during the whole thing, but the fact that it happened, you won't forget about it, nor do you, because not only will it shape who you are, but it's something that happened to you. Good or bad, it happened to you. And that memory is now with you. So my point is that even bad fucking memories, you gotta keep them with you on your backpack. And you got to keep rocking with them, because a lot of those even bad memories, they shape you into the good person that you are today, or the good person that you could be. So all that shit matters. All of it matters. Every piece of you has to be connected, whether it's bad, whether it's traumatic, whether it's hurtful. Not just only the good shit. What that ain't life. Life is bad and good. So you can't just always try to grab the good shit. That's just ridiculous. It doesn't shit don't work like that. So when they try to tell you to disconnect with the bad parts of your life, or the shitty parts of your life in the past, I'm gonna tell you, that's what made you who you are today. So do not disconnect with that shit. If anything, connect more, so you can make sure that you've gotten everything you've learned out of there. Make sure you've milked every little bit of that sadness. You milked all the lessons out of it. That's why that shit happened to you. Or even if that's not why it happened, then understand that it happened, and it's something that you can use. It's something that you can use. You can either use it for good, and it can motivate your life, or you can use it for bad, where it demotivates your life. It's up to fucking you. But one point, the major point is, you have to connect to that. Like I said, whether it's a bad memory, whether it's good, you have to connect to it, because it still makes up your consciousness. It still makes up your awareness. It makes up who you are. You have to connect. Stop taking pleasure in disconnection. That is not healthy for you, nor your kids that you let watch the bullshit that you be watching. Motherfuckers arguing all goddamn day and talking shit and slapping each other on TV, and you laugh and you clap. Your kids watching you do that stupid shit. And guess what he's gonna be doing, or she's gonna be doing, when she's at school and you're not there? The shit that you was clapping and condoning. Stop. We need to stop celebrating disconnection. We need to stop celebrating disconnection. We need to start teaching kids that winning is always winning. And if we all lose together. We need to start teaching our kids not to be proud to be disconnected from another person or another group of people. Whether they're black, white, whether they're country, whether they like rock music, whatever the fuck it is. I'm not saying go do it. What I'm saying is that understand that you ain't got to dislike. You don't have to think you're so much different. Some people like rock and roll, some people like country. That's fine. I'm not saying go listen to goddamn rock and roll. What I'm saying is you ain't got to dislike. That's my point. We have to connect. The connection is essential. Connection with others is very important. But what is detrimental if it's not done is connecting with yourself, with the inner you, with your spirituality, with your morality, with your natural instincts. If you do not connect with these things, you will not feel whole like you do right now. You will not feel whole. You will feel like there's something missing, and you will keep trying to put people in there to replace it, to make you feel happy, and it ain't gonna work. And you might try a sport or a hobby, whatever the fuck, that shit ain't gonna work. You see, what we really need to understand is that this disconnect is only detrimental to you and especially you. Everything around you, but especially you. Because while we are disconnecting within each other, that just grows. So you have to understand that what's missing inside of you is you. You are your worst enemy. Stop enjoying and stop taking pleasure and part in the entertainment of disconnection. So that's all I got for you. Connect with each other. Most importantly, connect with yourself. So this video has been The Disconnected. We got to get back to it, folks. We got to get back to the basics. Most importantly, with nature. Know where your food come from. Let's just start there. You're going to start feeling better. And then we're going to start thinking better. And then we start doing better. You see what I'm saying? So connect. You got to connect with each other. So that's all I got for you, man. I appreciate your time. Y'all take it easy. Like, subscribe, follow. Peace.